Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Sarah from I'm Simple Natural Life. Thank you for joining me. If it's your first time here, then welcome. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you are a regular here, then thank you for coming back. There's new content every week, so keep following me and you'll get all the most regular stuff or the most recent stuff. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, today I want to tell you all about my week. And it was a really brilliant week, which is lovely for me to talk about, but actually there's a lesson in there, and that's what really I want to talk about. So first of all, my week started on the Monday, as it does, and I worked for about half a day in the morning, and then my husband needed to go to, can't remember, do some stuff. I need to rewind. Just the background, in case you are new to these videos, I have 4 children aged 11, 10, 9 and almost 8. 3 are home educated and the eldest is profoundly disabled, and she goes to a special school, but actually she is homeschooled at the moment because COVID and moving and stuff like that. Anyway, so we have a couple more months until she will be back in a special school. Right, Monday. Half a day work, then I took over with the kids. My husband went and did the stuff he needed to do, and we spent just the afternoon. It was beautiful sunshine, spent the day out in the garden, just kind of chilling and trampolining and, you know, doing all the outsidey fun stuff, playing cricket and stuff like that. Tuesday I didn't work and we had a real treat. I took 3 of my children to the Warner Brothers Studios tour in London or near London, and it was really good. It was fantastic, and we've read all the Harry Potter books together and we've watched the films together, and now like to spend the day finding out how they did all the filming and stuff. It was amazing, and it was one of those lovely days where I didn't have to be rushing the children and saying, come on, we've got to go and do this now, we've got to go and do that, or you know, we need to finish up now because we've got to get here, there and everywhere. We could just spend the day doing things at their pace, what they wanted to do, what they were interested in, and it was just beautiful. It was a lovely day. Wednesday I did half a day in the morning, and then we're doing up a house at the minute and we needed to go over to the new house for the afternoon. And then Thursday I worked in the morning and then took my daughter for a pre-arranged appointment at the hospital. And then Friday we went away for a long weekend, and it was to Center Parcs, not advertising them. It was just, you know, a nice long weekend kind of in nature, kind of nature-ish anyway, seeing the red squirrels and just, you know, using the swimming pool and stuff like that, but really just spending some time together and in a different kind of location. It's nice to get away from home, isn't it? So that was a long weekend, Friday to Monday, just to finish off the week, and that it was a really nice balanced week in terms of time for me to work, because I love my job, really love it. So that's good. Time just for me and to do stuff that I like. And sometimes that's stuff that I'm doing with the children and sometimes it's stuff of my own, but you know, stuff I enjoy, and spending time with the children. So that's my 3 things: my working, time for me, time with the children. And it felt like a really nice balance. And this week though was not unusual. That's kind of, it's not that I go away on long weekends every week, or that I'm going to Harry Potter World every week, but that kind of balance to the week is really kind of our normal. But it wasn't always like that, and this is where the lesson bit comes in. So as I said, I had 4 children, have 4 children who under the age of 3.5. So I had them within 3.5 years. Does that make any sense? I think so. Anyway, the eldest was 3.5 when the youngest was born. And it was it was really hard. I mean, we chose to have the children very close together, so it's not a complaint, but that doesn't mean it wasn't hard, because it was. And to add to the complexity, my eldest is profoundly disabled physically and mentally, and also another one of my daughters has high functioning autism, which is Asperger's. So it just kind of adds to the trickiness a little bit. And so in the early days, it was very much kind of feeding, nappies, hospital appointments, lots of those for my daughter. There wasn't time for me. It felt very much, realistically, there was just no time for me. The typical day was, and I was working from home. So a typical day was, I was working for clients, doing copywriting. So I got up super, super early, kind of, 4 o'clock usually, something like that. Did the work I needed to do before the children got up, then did children all day. My husband was working full time out of the home for a sort of a big corporate organisation. And so he was at the home all day. So I was working, then fully doing the children, and then he'd come home and I'd make dinner. And then I'd go to bed, and then I'd get up numerous times during the night because they were small. And actually, even my eldest at age 11, because of her disability, she still gets up regularly through the night. And then it would all start again at kind of 4 a.m. to do my work. And it felt very much like I was kind of trapped. And it's weird, isn't it? I don't know if you kind of associate with this, but the feeling of I wanted to be with my children, and I knew I was so privileged to be able to have that time with them and to be able to be at home with them. And yet at the same time, I did feel trapped. And that is possible, to feel those two things, to feel privileged and lucky and also feel trapped by it. And I couldn't, for a long, long time, I couldn't see how things could ever be different, until one day I just realised that nobody was coming along to change this. Nobody. I think what I'd been waiting for was some kind of fairy godmother or someone, just to come along and say, wow, Sarah, you've been doing such a good job. That's really hard. I'm going to take this section of your life and take it away and deal with that. And, so you can now have all this extra time to yourself, or, that no one was coming. No one was ever coming to say that. No one was going to prioritise me in this situation unless I started that. And so I started, if you've seen previous videos, you'll know I started really small, and I started with just drinking 2 litres of water a day, making that commitment to myself that I would drink that water. And it was a way of showing love to myself. Like, for sure, it has physical benefits, but for me, it was mentally, really, that just to, sorry, by the way, if you can hear noise in the background, I'm having to record this while the kids are downstairs. Just have to ignore it. So it was mentally, and it was about showing myself that I was worthy of love and giving time to or care to. So it started with that, and then it developed onto, I started doing yoga every day and whatever, and it was so imperfect, I can't even tell you. So yoga would look like the little tinies climbing over me, and really there was not much yoga being done, but I kept going with it because it was that commitment to myself. And I knew that if I couldn't make these small changes, then the big changes of this life that I imagined, they weren't going to magic themselves up. I had to start somewhere, and this is where I started. So I did that, and then gradually I just made more and more changes, and some of those changes were really big. And just to kind of give you an overview, but I can't tell you, I'm afraid, like, well, we did this, then we did this, then we did this, then we did this, and ta-da, because life isn't kind of linear in that kind of way often. This was a really organic process, but at some point, my husband, like he was pretty unhappy in a big corporate job. Like, that's just not how he is, a lot with the bureaucracy and all that kind of stuff that goes with it. So he quit his job, and that was massive for us, because that meant we no longer had a guaranteed salaried job, guaranteed income. And so that was a really big deal, and that was a really big risk that we took. But we took that risk for his life enjoyment, really. And it made such a difference to us as a family, because he was so much happier. And for me, it made a big difference because he was around more. So he set up self-employed and does consultancy kind of stuff, but working from home. And then, because we had this flexibility, we went to New Zealand for 3 months, because we were now at a point we didn't have to go and ask an employer, you know, if he could have time off, and, you know, please, can I go on holiday? If we want to go on holiday, we could go on holiday. So we went away for 3 months to New Zealand, and during that time, we could sort of reappraise our lives, really. And when we came back, I'd decided that I'd always known I wanted to always to write a book. And so we made that happen, and he started taking on more of the childcare, and I had kind of 2 days, I think it was 2 days a week, that were my days. I'd never had this. Like, wow, 2 days where they were mine to work. And obviously there were teething problems, and it has taken quite a long time of I don't know what the word is, trial and error, and kind of, I don't know, us all getting used to it, for the children, for me, for him. And now, you know, I published my book, and then I set up my coaching business, and now I'm here talking to you every week, and I'm doing all my social media stuff, all part of this, my coaching kind of offering. And that's my life, and it's amazing, and I just love this work. And I love the fact that I can now help other women who want to change their life and can't kind of see quite how to do that, and help people kind of make the changes in the way that I changed my life. Because I went from feeling so trapped to now feeling so free and so empowered. And, you know, my life is not perfect at all. It's really not perfect, and there's so much more that I want to change and more that I want to do, but it's pretty damn good. It really is pretty damn good. And it is just so different from how it was. You know, I still get to spend as much time as I want with the children. I still have all of that benefit and privilege, but I also have time for me, and time for the children, and time to work, and do work that is driven by me, that happens when I want it to happen. And I love that. And my story is not your story. It is not that the only way to make changes in your life is for your husband to give up work and go self-employed, or you might not have a partner. That doesn't matter. It's not the dynamics of the family or what different people are doing. It's possible for you, whoever you are, to make changes, but where you have to start is to dream big. First of all, is to actually think about it, and not to limit yourself and think, well, that's not possible. I mean, I'm still working towards my final dream, okay? I'm dreaming really big. But we've made massive steps towards that dream life that I'm trying to create. Absolutely massive steps. But it all started with those teeny tiny steps right at the beginning, which for me was the drinking the water. That was my first step. And really everything else came from that. And, you know, it's like that sliding doors film or whatever, isn't it? You know, like our journey could have gone so many different ways. And, you know, my husband might still be working where he used to work and whatever, but I know that I'd still be making the progress towards my dream, because it's just, once you start to dream, it's really hard to kind of put that away again. And I just wasn't willing to put that away again. So that's it, really. That's why I'm here telling you about my brilliant week, which, because every week's pretty good, and I want you to have that too. So today, just start to think, what would it look like? What does a dream life look like to you? And don't worry about if it seems silly. You don't have to tell anybody anyway. It's just for you to know. And then just to start with one commitment. What commitment could you make today that would just be like my water to my dream? Just one commitment to yourself that will just take you just that first step onto your into your dream. So thank you for joining me. I hope that's helpful. Subscribe to the channel, please. I would love to see you on the doodie, and all my social media links and all that stuff for the coaching is in the description. And I hope you have a great week this week. Start with your commitment to yourself and let me know in the comments how you get on. See you soon. Bye.